At the stroke of midnight, 5 teenagers, Veronica, Mike, Rachel, Jeff, and the youngest, 16-year-old Emily, ventured into the Mountain View Cemetery in Oakland, California. They were driven by curiosity, a thirst for adventure, and a bravado induced by their teenage immortality complex. They carried nothing but their flashlights, seeking adrenaline-fueled excitement amidst the graves, tombstones, and mausoleums. What they didn't know was that they had invited something sinister into their lives, a hellhound that chose to mark one of them. At the heart of the cemetery, an eerily beautiful stone angel stood, illuminated in the ambient moonlight. As they approached it, the temperature dropped and a low growl filled the air. Turning their flashlights towards the source of the sound, their beams fell upon a massive black beast with fiery red eyes, a sight that sent a wave of terror down their spines. They froze as the creature disappeared, but not before locking its fiery gaze onto Emily. Emily was an average teenager. She loved her friends, enjoyed horror films, and was curious about the paranormal. But after that night, she became the victim of a supernatural entity beyond her understanding. The hellhound started appearing wherever Emily was at home, work, school. It became a looming presence that she could not shake off. At home, she would hear growling outside her window, see red eyes glaring from the darkness, feel an oppressive dread that wouldn't let her sleep. At work, at a local bookstore, she would see shadows moving at the corner of her eye, feel a cold presence nearby, see paw prints appear on the dusty floor. At school, her notebooks would suddenly have claw marks, her lunch would be inexplicably spoiled, and an unsettling feeling of being watched followed her wherever she went. The hound was unseen by everyone else, and Emily's pleas fell on deaf ears. Her friends dismissed it as a post-adventure fright, her parents attributed it to stress, and the school counselor diagnosed it as anxiety. The weeks turned into months, and the hellhound continued its relentless pursuit. Emily's vibrant personality withered, replaced by paranoia and fear. She could not eat, sleep, or concentrate. Her grades plummeted, her friends drifted away, and she was slowly driven to the edge of sanity. In her desperation, Emily turned to the local library, poring over books about mythology, demonology, and the occult. She discovered stories about hellhounds, ethereal canines guarding the realms of the afterlife, creatures attracted to those nearing their end or who had unwittingly invited them in. She realized the latter was their case. They had invited the hellhound unknowingly that night at the cemetery, and Emily, being the youngest and the most innocent, had become its target. She discovered a potential solution in an ancient text, a ritual to banish such entities back to their realms. Emily was skeptical but desperate enough to try. Gathering her remaining strength, she decided to face her fears head-on. She returned to the cemetery, to the stone angel, carrying a pouch of graveyard dirt, a silver chain, and a sprig of wolfsbane items she had gathered after meticulously researching. As the witching hour approached, Emily stood near the stone angel, her heart pounding in her chest. The temperature dropped, the air thickened, and she knew the hellhound was there. With a shaky voice, she began chanting the incantation she had learned. The ground beneath her shook slightly, and the growling of the hellhound filled the night. Summoning her courage, Emily stood her ground. The incantation grew louder, her voice steady. She threw the pouch of dirt into the air, draped the silver chain around the angel, and held the wolfsbane high above her head. Suddenly, the growling ceased. Emily held her breath, feeling an oppressive presence receding. Then, from the corner of her eyes, she saw the hellhound, its fiery eyes dimming. It seemed to take a step back, then another, before it vanished into thin air. Emily fell to her knees, gasping for air, relief washing over her. The next day was ordinary for Emily, no strange shadows or inexplicable sounds. For the first time in months, she slept soundly, free of the hellhound's harassment. Her ordeal was over, but she was forever changed. She realized the dangers of poking into the unknown, of underestimating the realm of the supernatural.